We're gonna make some pumpkin pie for this weekend, and I'm gonna do a homemade pumpkin pie crust or a homemade pie crust. You can use this pie crust, it is versatile. You can use it for any type of pie. I have tried 1,000 different pie crust in my life, and I swear to you, this is the easiest pie crust. It never fails. It is amazing. So let's get started. So for the actual pumpkin pie filling, I always just go ahead. This is just an Aldi can of pumpkin, and I typically will always use the recipe that is on the back of pumpkin, which is pretty easy to use. 1 can of pumpkin, 3/4 cup of sugar, and then your spices and some salt and eggs. So that is what we'll use for the filling. The pie crust is also super, super easy, and I will type it out in the description below, but this pie crust has never failed me. And inside of it is an egg yolk. So let's get started. So I got all of the dry ingredients mixed into the butter that the recipe calls for. And the butter you want to make sure is cold, like right from the fridge cold. I think all of my past mistakes with making a pie crust or a pie dough is that I would sometimes let the butter get soft, or I would even microwave the butter because I wasn't quite comfortable with the sandy texture. See, it looks kind of sandy here where it's just kind of crumbly, and you just have to keep working with it and not be afraid of it. And then when you get that texture, just slowly start adding in the ice water. If you notice, I did not even need the full amount of the water that this recipe calls for. And that can depend on a lot of different things, but it just came together so nice. And I promise you, this will be the easiest recipe you will use. When you start with the butter, and I thought I captured this part, but I didn't, just cut the butter in little tiny cubes. I just take that stick and stick and a half of butter here in the United States, and I just cut it into little cubes, and you can just see it throughout the dough. And it just all comes together great. Your hands, everything. Just make sure you have the clean hands and just get in there and mix it up. And I promise you will love this one. Now, as you get ready to roll this out, I always recommend rolling it out with parchment paper. You do not always have to have parchment paper. If you want to put your dough in the fridge before, you can just flour down your surface and do it that way. But I always recommend the parchment paper. I feel like it works better. And you will notice in this part of the video, the top layer of parchment paper was just a little bit short because I am running out. So that is why that looks the way it does, and I end up turning it around. But in the end, it worked just fine, and you just keep rolling. Do not be afraid of it. Just roll a little bit, turn your whole crust around, roll a little bit more. Just keep turning it. If it's ugly, I promise you can use your fingers. You can spread it out and make it even in the end, but it'll work out great. Just keep working at it. And here I'm just going to show you what the pie crust looks like. I never was quite sure when I was making a crust before if I was doing it right. And you can make it thinner, but this is just about the thickness that we really like.
Our pumpkin pie is now resting safely in the oven where it will continue baking. And then once it's cool for dessert tonight, we will be serving that up with a little bit of Walmart whipped topping. So. Be sure to thumbs up this video, and I hope to see you back for another video real soon. Thanks so much for watching. See you. Bye.